So look, when it comes to running shoes, essentially you only need three. You need a race day shoe, a very fast and light carbon plated shoe like the Vaporfly 3. And then you need one for your long run, easy, max cushion, plushy feeling like the Invincible 3. And then you need one to fill the gap between the two of these. The Vomero 17 is exactly that shoe. Let's talk about it. My name is Aubrey. I'm a very average runner, simply trying to be less average by the day. As at the time of filming this, you've given me 7,170 subscribers. Sincerely, thank you. And if you're on Instagram, catch me on here. I talk all things running and running shoes. Okay, so let's start with the review. And I always start with the three things you need to know about the shoe I'm reviewing, starting with the price. £145 from Nike's website. I'll put the dollar equivalent up here because I don't know. In terms of weight, I wear a 9.5 UK and it weighed in 305 grams. As I mentioned, it's not particularly light. It's not heavy, middle of the road. Stack height. This is where things get exciting. 39 millimeters at the back and 29 at the front, being a 10 mil drop. Before we start breaking down the shoe in detail, let me explain what this shoe is for. Two things. Firstly, this is a perfect shoe for someone who's just getting into running. You're looking for a shoe to just put on and get out the door. No techie complications. No, this is that shoe. It's a neutral daily trainer. Neutral meaning you don't need support or you overpronate and therefore require stability shoe. This is classified as neutral. Secondly, if you already have a fast day Vaporfly race day shoe, and you also have a max cushion, long run, easy run kind of shoe, and you're looking for something that brings the two together, cushion and a good return of energy, this is that. Okay, so let's break down the shoe. Normal English, no jargon, just a normal conversation, starting from the top, working our way down. Let's start with the heel. I absolutely love the protrusion, this bit that really sticks out at the heel. I like that. The other thing is the padding within that. You get a very good heel lock. I didn't have any problems with heel slips or my foot aimlessly moving within that because of two things. One, the padding I've just mentioned, and also it has a lot of structure. Like I'm having to try to really press that. In some shoes, that can be flimsy and sometimes not as secure. I actually welcome that. The other thing is the detail at the heel. You've got these two dots, one here and another one back there. These are pretty reflective and I like that, as well as some nice detail in terms of this flag thing at the back. It's got the Nike swoosh on there. Welcomed. Next up, the tongue. It's gusseted, meaning it's attached on the inside. And that helps with giving you the same feel, the same experience in a running shoe every time you put it on. I welcome that. The other thing is the top of the tongue. Let me talk about the texture. I didn't run in version 16, so I can't tell you about a felt experience. What I can tell you though, they've redesigned this tongue to make it a little more slicker and a bit more technical, if that makes sense. But what I like, where it's branded on that Nike Vomero at the top, it's actually padded that when you tie down the laces, it kind of protects the top of your foot so that you don't get that added pressure. That I welcome. I also love just the general plushy feel of this tongue. Now look, if there's going to be a criticism, it's probably this. And to me, it's just me being petty. The lacing system. The actual laces themselves, I love them. I didn't have any problems. I did a 10K run in the shoe. I didn't have a single problem in it at all. What I don't like in running shoes is when people get experimental about the eyelets, the lacing system. And to me, there literally is no problem with this, but I like very simple setups, holes on the sides, and reinforce those holes, and that's that. I can see what they've done. It's similar to the Pegasus lacing system. I appreciate it for what it is, but for me personally, I just like simplicity. And if I'm to criticize one thing, it'll probably be that. And I have nothing else to criticize about this shoe. Let's talk about the upper. Again, redesigned from the previous version, but I don't care about the previous version. I care about this one. I like Well, when I talk about uppers, I talk about two things. I talk about the performance. It's highly breathable. It's an engineered mesh and it gets rid of that heat. It gets rid of moisture and I appreciate it for that. The second thing is the aesthetic. I won't lie to you. I did not like the look of the other colorways. I like this. It's super crisp. It's super clean. Only downside is where I live in England, we're now getting into the back end of autumn or fall, going into winter. Not the best colorway for that, but it is what it is. I like the shoe. I'm not going to buy a shoe if I don't like the look of it. The midsole. Now here it gets slightly complicated. What I will tell you, the version 16, which you'll probably be able to buy now if you find it much cheaper, had an air pod at the front, at the forefoot of the midsole. They've gotten rid of that. Now for me personally, I didn't run in the 16, so I can't miss it. I don't know about all of that. What I can tell you is this is a good performance. I love this midsole. I've seen a few reviews criticizing it, and I'll be honest with you, there is nothing to criticize here for me. It does two things perfectly. Bridging the gap between a fast shoe and a max cushion shoe in terms of giving you that return of energy. Secondly, I like the simplicity of just having a shoe that feels like a shoe and you just run. There are times when I want an easy run, I want that plushy feel. There are times I want a carbon plate kind of feel, but there are times where I just want a shoe, and this is that. The makeup of this is 2 layers of 2 different foams. The top here is Zoom X. Now you will remember the shoes I talked about, the Vaporfly, the Invincible. They use Nike's premium formula midsole, that material, that is that Zoom X. And I like the fact that they've put that closer to your foot. What's on the bottom here? They're called Cushlon 3.0. Now, if you don't have the benefit of 1.0, 2.0, it doesn't really matter. All you need to know, this is a firmer material closer to this one, and that gives you the stability that you need, because Zoom X can feel a bit unstable, it's too plushy, but also the return of energy I keep talking about. That way you're not fully sinking in, which is a big criticism that the Invincible 3 has. You see, the Vaporfly 3 has a lot of the midsole exposed, where it doesn't have full coverage with this outsole. They do that to reduce weight as well as the materials. Pegasus 40, in the Invincible, and now in the Vomero 17 in that waffle full coverage, absolutely amazing. I love that. In terms of the grip that it offers, you also can't criticize that. I didn't have any issues at all. This to me is exactly what a running shoe should be if you don't want to be super techie and you just want a running shoe. Genuinely, I have no criticism whatsoever in the shoe. And I do feel like sometimes when people review running shoes, because they need to add value to the viewer, to the audience, they will find certain things that can either be improved or criticized. For me personally, I would much rather look for things to appreciate. If something really stands out, then I'll call it out. I'll be honest with you, there is nothing I can say negative about this shoe. That's just my opinion. Thank you very much for tuning in, and if you enjoyed that, please do consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean a lot. I referred to the Invincible 3 quite a lot. It's one of my favorite running shoes, and you can see that here. And also, my favorite running shoe ever, the Vaporfly, that's here. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one.